In today's video, we're going to check out the craziest mount that you can get for your Google Nest Hub and your Echo Show 5. Let's get started. Hey everybody, welcome to Tech with Brett, where I help tech work for you. So in today's video, we're going to show you how to install the Google Nest Hub and the Echo Show 5 built-in mounts from Mount Genie. Thank you, Mount Genie, for sending out these mounts to me to check them out. So I have reviewed a few different Mount Genie mounts in the past, but I definitely wanted to check these out as these are one of the craziest mounts that I have seen, as these offer an internal way to display these mounts in your wall. So here is the built-in mount for the Google Nest Hub, and it is compatible with the Power over Ethernet adapter. Now that is one of the main things with this, is you will need to use Power over Ethernet, as it is against code, where at least where I live, to install a power cord in the wall. So this is able to help you do that. So inside the package, you also have this Nest Home Hub built-in template. So we'll be using that. And then here is the mount itself. So this will go inside your wall. So the biggest thing about these is it's going to be a big hole. So this is the hole that you will cut out. And then this is what the faceplate will look like. Looks really nice and slim. So we will be installing this and trying that out. So here is your power cord. So this will plug into the back of the Nest Hub, and then this would plug into your Power over Ethernet adapter. And then it also comes with some other brackets here and another adapter as well. And inside the packaging for the built-in mount for the Amazon Echo Show 5 is very similar. Here you have the template. So this is how you will align everything. Careful, do not overcut along this line. So you just be careful when you are installing these. Measure twice, cut once. And then here you have the little mount. So there it will lock in so that it doesn't fall out. And then this also has a power adapter so that you can plug this into the back of the Echo Show 5 and then use the Power over the Ethernet adapter here. And this also comes with the extra brackets. Now let's talk about how to power these devices. So here is a Power over Ethernet switch. So you plug in the Ethernet cable into here. And then on the other end, where you will plug in your smart display, you will use one of these. So this is the Mount Genie Power over Ethernet adapter. So then this will plug right into the Ethernet. The Ethernet will come into here. And then you will take this and take the cable that came with the mount, and you will plug that right into the back of the Nest Hub or the Echo Show 5. And that is how you can get power within the wall to these adapters. So that's pretty much it. On the back of this, this is where you will plug this in to give it power. So now let's go ahead and get this installed. The first step is to choose what height to mount the display. If I mount it too low, the kids will want to play with it. I'm going to choose about 4 feet where my arm naturally rests when I touch the display. On the back of this sheet, there's a list of detailed instructions. First, we're going to use the template to trace the hole and cut it out. Second, we're going to slide the mount into the hole and then attach the metal backers. Third, we're going to connect the power cable and adapter. And fourth, we're going to plug it in the Power over Ethernet switch. First, I'm going to mark where the template will go. Then I'm going to use my stud finder to make sure that no studs will be in the way of the hole. Then I'm going to use my level to make sure the template is level. After tracing the template, I will then cut it out, making sure not to get too close to the edge. I suggest getting a sheetrock knife, but my razor did the job. Carefully remove the cut out portion of the wall, then place in the mount. There are 4 metal backers to put on. 2 go on the bottom and 2 go on the top. Once these are placed, test to make sure that the mount is firmly in place. Let's move to the most difficult part of the install, routing the necessary cables. Inside my Ethernet box, I'm going to add another hole to the back so that I can route the new cable to the hub. Depending on your wall, you might have a 2x4 in the way of the wire. You may need to get a long drill bit to add a hole in that 2x4 so that you can route your wire. Now there are 2 possible ways in which you could route the wire from your display. The first method, this is the one I used, was to plug in the extension cable that came with the mount and feed it through the wall. Then at the bottom, I attached the Nest Hub adapter and then the Mount Genie Power over Ethernet network adapter. Then I plugged in a Cat5 cable into the adapter and then plugged that into the Power over Ethernet switch and immediately had power to the Nest Hub. The second method is to plug in the Nest Hub adapter directly into the back of the hub, followed by the Mount Genie network adapter. Then you can take a Cat5 cable and plug it directly into the adapter behind the wall and route that directly to the Power over Ethernet switch. Both of these methods work the same. It all depends on how you want your cables to be routed. Once it is plugged in, we are then ready to place in the Nest Hub. It just rests on the bottom and then press the top until it locks in. For my install, it did not lock in as well as I would have liked it to, but that may be because during my install I made the hole a little too big, so be careful when cutting yours out. Once it's installed, I can then use the Nest Hub like normal. It is very easy to change the home view settings and navigate through the device. You can also activate Google Assistant very easily. One of the problems with the Nest Hub is that when it is mounted, you are not able to use the volume buttons on the back side, but you can easily get to those by using the on-screen controls by swiping up from the bottom of the display. The second issue is you cannot switch the mute switch on the back, but you can pop out the hub by pulling on the top and then you can adjust the mute switch. When listening to music on the Nest Hub, the speaker is actually at the very bottom of the front of the display, and it is very easy to hear even when it is mounted here on the wall. Now let's move on to the Echo Show 5. The following steps are very similar, so I will highlight some of the changes. Find the right height, make a starting line, check for studs, make it level, trace the template, then cut out the hole. Then we're going to place in the mount. You can tell that this time it was a bit more firm when I put it in, and then we're going to put in the 4 metal backers to lock it into place. 2 on the bottom, 2 on the top. Then we need to feed the extension cable or Cat5 cable from the back of the display to the Ethernet box. Once plugged in, we can then put the Echo Show 5 into place. The mount locks nicely into place on the bottom of the Show 5. It then snaps in and has a very solid fit, but is easy enough to pull out with a bit of force if needed. Then I'm going to plug in the Show 5 adapter into the Power over Ethernet adapter. Then a network cable into the Power over Ethernet switch, and we have power. One nice thing about the Show 5 is that when it is mounted, you easily have access to the mute and volume up and down buttons on the top. You are also able to easily switch the camera privacy switch. Now there are a few issues with the Show 5 as well when it is mounted. One is that because it does have a camera, it is hard to adjust the position when you are doing a video chat. If you mount it for the perfect height for you, it may be better, but then worse for anyone else that might try to use it. As for the sound, at first I thought this was going to be an issue, but after mounting the display, I noticed the speaker from the Show 5 is actually on the bottom front, so the speaker is not being blocked in any way with the built-in mount. It is harder to access the auxiliary port on the back, but I am sure that you will be able to figure out another way to wire that if it is needed. After these are installed, this is how I ended up threading the extension cables through the wall. It does the job, but if you thread Ethernet cables instead, you could have a cleaner finished look down here at the bottom with the Ethernet wall plate. And here's a look at the built-in displays. They are very slim and offer a very clean way to mount your smart display. And here's a look at the final setup. The smart displays are built into the wall. They are then wired to the Power over Ethernet adapters, and then the adapters are plugged into the Power over Ethernet switch with an Ethernet cable. And here's what the back of the displays look like for anyone that is curious. And just like that, we now have our built-in mounts for the Nest Hub and the Echo Show 5. So going through the installation process, there really wasn't anything that was too difficult. The hardest part is putting a massive hole in your wall, as well as feeding the cable from the hole down into the box where you would use for the Power over Ethernet. Now I know my temporary wall here isn't the perfect situation to test these out, but it really gave me a good idea of how cool that these mounts are. It's really nice to have this completely flush up against the wall, and then it doesn't take up any counter space or anything like that. It's also at a nice angle, so if you had it lower, the kids could use it if you wanted them to, or higher, then the kids can't use it, but it's a nice angle for you to be able to see. One of the only weird issues about the angle is if you are trying to video chat on the Echo Show 5, it was a little bit hard. I would have to sit down or something like that to make it a little bit more user-friendly, or again, I just need to mount it higher. And the Echo Show 5, again, you have the mute switch on the top, the volume buttons, and then you do have the shutter button right there for the camera. So you still have all the controls right there. It's just not as easy to use certain things like the home control over on the Echo Show 5 isn't as good as the Nest Hub. So you win some and you lose some. Full video on a comparison of these coming soon. Now on the Echo Show 5, I'm really impressed with how this is able to fit in. It is very solid, it's not moving at all, and it almost looks like it was made to fit in your wall. Now you don't have to see that big speaker on the back, but this looks really perfect with the aligned border around the outside on that mount. It just looks really, really nice. So if you've been looking for a mount like this to get your devices off the counter and move them up a little bit higher so they're easy to control, I can definitely recommend checking out the built-in mounts by Mount Genie. If you guys have any further questions about these, please let me know in the comments below. And if you'd like to pick them up, or the power or Ethernet switch or anything like that, I will leave a link to those in the description below. And make sure you tune in next week where we learn how to patch massive holes in your wall. Or you can also check out the other mounts that I've reviewed over here on the side. Thank you guys so much for watching. We'll see you on the next one.